welcome to AIL TV. I'm a man called Jay. This program is brought to you by AIL TV in conjunction with RSDCS, which means Regional Center for Development and Training for Civil Society. We're always having conversations to see how change can be brought about in our communities. Now, in this video, we are focusing on Sudan. Sudan, as you know, some of you know, some of you don't. Sudan is going through a very big challenge. It is catastrophic. And in fact, in this video, we are going to concentrate or to focus on gender-based violence in Sudan. Women are raped, and even children. So rape has become like another weapon for war. And on top of that, they don't have any help. They can't go anywhere. They have nowhere to run. Now, bodies of women are being discovered in rivers, killed and dumped there. So, in this video, I have got 3 guests, Rania Suleiman, Athlet Suleiman, and Hamid Bahit. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing the names correctly, but without wasting so much time, let me introduce to you to the guests. Hello, gentlemen, ladies. First of all, let me say thank you for agreeing to come to AIL TV, and we are having conversations for change. I introduced your names, but I'm not sure whether I did introduce them correctly. Now, what I would like you to do, please do it again. I'm going to start with the lady in black, and then in the middle, and then Hamid. I know Hamid because we have met before. So go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Rania Suleiman. You pronounced my name absolutely correct. I'm a pharmacist. I live here in London. I'm a member of Sudanese Women for Peace and Sudan Doctors for Human Rights. I'm an activist, and I am especially interested in women and children rights.
Yes.
Thank you very much for having me
Good,
today.
good.
Thank you.
The lady in the glasses.
Hi, I'm Uthailat Suleiman, and you pronounced my name correctly. I'm a broadcast journalist based in London, and I'm also the chairperson for the Sudanese Journalist Forum in the UK.
Fantastic. Hamid, you want to introduce yourself again?
Hello, of course, because of the audience, of course, not because of you. So I am Hamid Bakhit, a, a Sudanese, of course, and I am the head of Projects Directorate, working for the Regional Center for Training and Development of Civil Society, which is known as RCDCS.
So, in this video, we are going to talk about gender-based violence in Sudan, which is really, it is just skyrocketed. So I don't know much about it. I know I have read and researched, but not really, I can't understand what is happening there. So let me start with the ladies, then I will come to you, Hamid. So, Rania, could you just say a bit about this gender-based violence in Sudan and why it is happening? Yes.
Yeah, gender-based violence actually started in the early 2000s, 2003, when it started in the west of Sudan, specifically in Darfur. where the militias, was called Janjaweed militias at that time, was raping the women from Darfur, and it was a part of ethnic problem, and it was a part of the ethnic clearance that they were doing to the area at that time, and it was one of the reasons why Sudanese people left Darfur and they were displaced to Chad and to the neighboring countries. And gang rape was one of the reasons. And since then, the sexual violence is continuous until now. The only thing happened now is the war that started in April 2023. And then the sexual violence spread in Khartoum and Al Jazeera and in other areas of Sudan, unfortunately. And it's why is it happening is a criminal act, is a part of criminal war crimes. Women bodies are being used as battlegrounds, unfortunately, and all the parties are committing this crime. Parties related to the RSF and to SAF as well, the militias. They are all committing this crime, unfortunately, and the numbers are huge. The only thing I can say about this catastrophe that we have the numbers recorded and reported by the international organizations are not accurate numbers. They are only small fractures of the accurate numbers due to the nature of the Sudanese community, the fear of stigma and other related problems. So the rape ladies do not go to report the rape that happened to them. And also they've been threatened if they talk, especially when this crime is committed by certain parties. They get threatened if they talk, they will be killed or their family members will be killed.
Okay, we will
So
come back to you. We will
sitting.
come back to you. Let me listen to Othlate.
Yeah, I think as a professional, the sexual-based violence is a reflection of the dichotomy that's being caused by the war, and both belligerents target women. I think this could be rooted in the patriarchy, that the war brings out this kind of machoism in men, and sexual violence is not only affecting the women in Sudan, but it's actually affecting Sudanese women in the diaspora and everywhere, because the language being used is very sexualized. It is derogatory, demeaning. Uh, Female journalists are subjected to a lot of online abuse, and actually, not just the journalists, but women in general. If you have an opposing view to the status quo vis-a-vis the regime in Sudan, for example, you're subjected to a lot of abuse. And yes, it is a result of the war, and it's basically a way of oppressing the women. But by oppressing the women, you're also oppressing, the men, because it is insulting the woman, her family, and so on. So it is perceiving the woman as being a weak person. But actually, for example, like activists in London are very violent, and where the political expression of that violence it becomes verbal, and it's not just in the battlefields, but it's also online and on the streets.
Okay, so Hamid, I just want to ask you a simple question. Does that mean Sudan is completely broken down and nothing can be done?
Unfortunately, we cannot deny this fact. Sudan is now completely broken down. You know, uh, being broken down does not mean only this. I mean, collapse happen on the infrastructure, or what is happening now by the war. But what I'm talking about is the collapse that happened in our attitude, in our ethics, in the behavior of the people. Unfortunately, we're not learning from the history. And what are the people or my colleagues are speak about the gender-based violence, which started earlier since the early 2000s. It happens more and more, and keeps happening all the time, but nobody take care about it. And now it goes to be even massive, not like the past time. Even in the past it was like a hidden part, but now it becomes public, and becomes like, and even one of my colleagues speaks about the language used, which is highly violating not only women, violating everybody who's against what is happening right now. So these facts, all of them together, shows that Sudan can never get back to the previous time, can never get back to into the time when it was a good country. Maybe if there is like interventions from different parties, if the civilians got their roles in framing the future, it might be better. But as long as those military are the people who are framing our future, South Sudan will never be the hoping country that we are dreaming.
Okay. Rania is gone. So now let me ask this question. I'm going to ask, did you say, athlete, did you say you are a broadcaster as well?
Broadcast journalist, I actually work though on Intake, which is with the International Bureau, with international correspondence and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Currently working as a freelancer though. Yeah.
okay. So now, if I ask this question, earlier on you said activists in London, they're also violent. So how is that possible that you have got activists in London who are violent towards women?
Well, absolutely. Unfortunately, there was more than one incident. When the former Prime Minister Hamdok came to speak at Chatham House, there was a pro-SAF, that's Sudan Allied Armed Forces, so-called activists. And instead of protesting peacefully, as is the nature of Sudanese pro-democracy activists, they were very violent, and I was actually attacked on the streets of London, and I had to be rescued by the police. And they were uploading those pictures. It went my images went viral all around the world, and that is to intimidate me, but also to intimidate all women. That if you dare to be anti-war and pro-peace, this is what will happen to you. And it was traumatizing, but I think for me, I see that the suffering of Sudanese women in Sudan is much more, and that it is therefore my duty to speak out against this violence. Doesn't mean that you are siding with the army or with the RSF. Being pro-peace means giving civilians a voice, because this is what we don't hear about now. And it is the civilians who are the victims of this war. And basically the RSF and SAF, they're really, what would you say, two sides of the same coin. The RSF were created by SAF. So therefore, the fact that they split off from SAF doesn't make them suddenly some kind of alien force. No, RSF were created, born by SAF in Sudan. So suddenly they cannot blame this on civilians. They're trying to blame the civilians for the fact that there is a military that has gone amok that's was allowed to be legalized and to have such a strong position. The question is, why was this situation allowed in the first place? For me, it is a continuation of the policies of the Bashir regime of constantly creating havoc, be it in South Sudan, be it in Darfur. After the separation of South Sudan, it became in Blue Nile province, in South Kordofan. It is the continuation of havoc so that do not allow civilians and a democratic regime.
Okay, so let us, Hamid. You know, when we're having these conversations, you can see it is conversations for change, but also we need to talk about solutions. So, what would be the solution? Well, stopping the violence probably it is going to take a long time. But what kind of mechanism can be put into place even to create awareness? You know what worries me is that many Africans do not even know what is happening in Sudan. They do not know what exactly how women and children are suffering there. So you are into media, and you work with RS. Is it a regional center for training and development for civil society, right? What is the media doing? What is the media doing? Do we have actually like actual media in Sudan to report on these events?